final walkthrough inspection. House is selling for about $900,000. It's around 4,200 square feet. Let's check it out. And it looks like water is leaking down from behind the cabinet. We can see that the main drain stack is coming down behind this wall. Kind of hard to see, but it looks like they did not paint the trim behind the downspouts.
New construction homes this year are built absolutely horrible, and it needs to be stopped. We made a video on this last year reviewing new construction homes, and now that it's 2025, I would only have hoped things would have gotten better, but nope, we're going downhill, and we're going downhill fast. I used to want to get a new construction home because you would think, oh, it's newer, it's better, there's less problems than an old one, but that couldn't have been further from the truth when you watch this video. Now, if you guys happen to have bought a new construction home or in the trades or are a home builder, let me know your thoughts on these down in the comment section below. Otherwise, let's get right into today's episode.
It's 2025. There ain't gonna be nothing wrong with new construction. All right. Let's take a look.
Wow, that is a massive hole. Stick his finger in there.
Oh, another one.
Oh, that's lovely. Is the wall bent?
No.
The wall is bent. I have never even heard of that. You would think that wouldn't even be a thing in a new construction home. What gets me is, like, you would think after spending $500,000 or like $700,000 on a brand new home. I don't even know what they cost nowadays. I would assume if the average home right now is like a little over 400 grand, and that's an average home, then a brand new construction one would be more than that. So assuming $500,000 or $600,000, that there would be a level of craftsmanship involved in buying these homes. Like, I shouldn't have to worry if the walls in my new construction house are bent and crooked. This is insane. Oh, what a joke.
We got power. It just don't work.
Meow. Unbelievable. You know what's interesting is it almost looked like he was giving a tour of my new construction apartment complex. See, there's a difference here. I also, if that's the style, it seems like this is the way new homes are being built, like the prefabbed ones. Unless you are customizing your house with a builder, they all seem to be popping up looking exactly the same. Like, exactly the same, with the weird, like, not shiny wall with the stucco or whatever on the inside of the house. However they make that design on the walls, everything's cracked, everything's just cut and then caulked around. Like, honestly, I thought this man was reviewing the inside of my apartment complex, because the difference here is in an apartment complex, when they do that level of craftsmanship, just this crappy work, they can leave it alone. Like it's a rental. They just leave it like that, because everything that he just showed is exactly what I have done on the inside of my apartment here. But if I'm spending $500,000 and then some with the mortgage, with the interest rate, 7%, it'll end up costing me $900,000 by the time I'm done paying it off. You would think at the bare minimum, those would be fixed. Like, those problems would be gone. Like, even the small stuff there. I'm going to be a little picky, excuse me, if I'm blowing $500,000 on a home.
First inspection of 2025. Just got back from vacation. How's my house today? I'll let y'all decide.
All right, well, let's start on the outside. Windows could be sealed up a lot better, in my opinion. Bunch of spots missing caulking. Same with the garage door. It looks good up there. And then they just ran out of caulk, I guess.
Wow.
Same with this side. Okay, they again attempted to seal up the electrical panel, and I guess just ran out at the top. That one's not great either. Why even try? I'll tell you what, you may not like all this water, but the mosquitoes will.
Imagine every day after it rains.
Fence is
Nice.
broken. And right there too. That's broken. That's big enough for a rodent to gain access. Well, got the sprinklers going. Zone 3 is on. No spray heads are popping up. And the reason why is because we have a underground leak, so there's no pressure making it to the heads.
Oh, another bowed wall. Look at this. Who put this together? What is this? Look, I'm pausing it right here. It's that type of, what is this? Is this the new style? Because this is all over Florida. This is the same exact stuff in my apartment right now. What is this stucco-y, like chalky, dusty, like interior wall paint? I literally tried, like I killed a bug on my wall and I tried to clean it off with a little wet paper towel and I took all the paint off. Not to mention my walls are all cracked like that too in an apartment.
Could be worse.
And what's with these new towns and like suburban blocks being built right on top of each other? Like you could extend both arms out and you'd be hitting your neighbor's house here. I get that even back in the day, houses were fairly close, but now there's like zero privacy. You can't even put a fence in between you and your neighbor's house because there wouldn't be enough room to walk through on your side of the property.
Final walkthrough inspection. House is selling for about $900,000. It's around 4,200 square feet. Let's check it out. Always like to pop open some of the floor registers, make sure they got the ductwork nice and tight. This one is partially disconnected and we're losing some of the air below the floor. We're in one of the guest bathrooms and we're missing a little piece of trim next to the bathtub. Have some damage at one of the interior doors. Once we walked into the house, we noticed there was some water sitting on the kitchen counter, which is right below this area. So we're running some water and we'll see if anything leaks. So coming back downstairs, we did wipe up the water that we seen originally, but it looks like the puddle is back and it looks like water is leaking down from behind the cabinet. So we do have something leaking behind the wall. Pulling out the infrared camera, we can see that the main drain stack is coming down behind this wall.
The whole
so something's damaged and leaking behind there. Possibly even one of the screws for the cabinets that penetrated that pipe.
Oh, I could guarantee it. When they were putting those cabinets in, they just sent a nail or a screw straight through it into one of those PEX plastic, piping now because it's all so cheaply made together. And before you attack me in the comments, because I know in the last video, a lot of you guys were very into your PEX plumbing and PEX piping, which again, I think is fine, but I don't think you could send a screw that easily through a copper pipe. But a plastic pipe, it doesn't seem to be all that difficult. And now you got this massive mess. Can you imagine all this in a $900,000 house?
Looks like somebody spilled some paint on the front porch and never cleaned it up. Kind of hard to see, but it looks like they did not paint the trim behind the downspouts.
That is absolutely insane, the amount of corners being cut nowadays. I think there's this like delusion where people, and they do it with cars. If you haven't seen my car payment insanity episode, I highly recommend you check that out. But people would argue, they would like fight tooth and nail to defend their claim that brand new cars are so much better and of such a higher quality and craftsmanship than an older car, which is so far from the truth. Now with planned obsolescence and things being made only to last the warranty period and then break, People are taking shortcuts. They do it in the car community. It's very common now that we see rubber hoses being replaced with plastic hoses, or metal joints or like T-joints are being replaced with plastic ones. And when you run coolant that gets heated up to like 180 degrees Fahrenheit and then cooled back down constantly, all those heat cycles are going to make the plastic brittle and eventually crack. And then you have all these problems. But people will still argue tooth and nail that a brand new car is so much better than an older car. And I would argue that older cars have a lot more craftsmanship and quality put into them. And I think it's the same thing with freaking houses too, especially new houses. I would argue probably older houses are much better quality than these new ones. I mean, if they're cutting corners and won't even paint on my $900,000 house, practically $1 million, they won't even paint under like the rain spouts. What other corners are being cut? You know what I'm saying? Anywho, moving forward, I wanted to read some of your comments from my previous New Construction Insanity episode, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend you check out. And if you want to get featured in the next episode, then definitely make sure to drop a comment or your story down in the comments below. But we have Christian Goyne, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, says, I swear we live in a country that inevitably was leading toward the survival of the fittest scammer. Exactly. I legit just mentioned this with the car industry, and I honestly think it's with all appliances nowadays, with cell phones, with consumer electronics, with refrigerators, with microwaves. They all break. I live in a brand new apartment complex. Brand new. It was developed about 3 years ago, and I've lived in it for the past 3 years. And since then, almost every single appliance has shit the bed on me, and it's only been 3 years that this place is even here. Everything, you would think your appliances should last you longer than 3 years. The refrigerator has broken on me. The washing machine has broken on me. The dryer has broken on me. The freaking dishwasher has leaked. I mean, it just goes on and on and on of all these things in less than a year breaking. Not to mention, I'll do you one even better with the nonsense that's going on here. The GE refrigerator that I have, you can't even use an aftermarket water filter. They have implemented an RFID chip in the freaking water filter, which they then sell GE certified for $60 or $70. And that is the only one that can go into the refrigerator. If I use an aftermarket one, like the 4-pack for $20 on Amazon, if I put that one in my refrigerator, it shuts the water off and it will not let you get water go through. So it's unbelievable where we're heading, where these companies are monopolizing and locking you from using something that you own, so that you can only use theirs. It's like, don't you have the right to work? Apple no longer lets you replace the batteries in your iPhone. John Deere, the tractor company, no longer lets you work on your tractors. You have to buy their specific parts and their specific software. It's the same thing with cars. You can no longer do an oil change on your BMW without getting software to reset it. It's like they are monopolizing and shutting down your right to work and use your products. It's a really sick world that we're going to. The next comment from Mint5438 says, so not only can we not afford new homes, but the homes that we can afford are pieces of junk as well. Fantastic. Exactly. Can you imagine spending $900,000 and then walking around and seeing that they just did the quickest job possible? The freaking walls in your $1 million home are bent and bowed. I would love to see where these houses are in like 15 or 20 years. At least old houses have stood the test of time. They lasted 30 years. They can last another 30 years. But these houses can't even last a month after they built them. I wouldn't be surprised if they come toppling over or leaning after like 5 or 10 years. Next up, we have Real Game 101 says, Realtor here, older homes are the way to go. Renovation sucks, but overall construction build is better. If you pay attention, the older renovated homes have skyrocketed in major cities. That old wood is much stronger than new wood. Miss Jess 412 says, firemen in our area won't go upstairs in a fire in these new homes due to the floors falling through so fast. Something to do with the beams they're using burning much more quickly than older ones. That's actually very interesting and crazy, honestly. And I had read another comment that one of you left that was a firefighter that said they won't go even in the houses because they burn so much quicker than the older ones, which is very interesting and tells you either everything they're using is extremely flammable and all made of plastic, or the wood or something is just extremely cheap or flammable. I have no idea, but that's crazy. Next comment we have from Julio Vasquez, 82, says, I'm a contractor in Georgia, and I have to stop electrical work for this major corporation. We are an electrical company, and we charge roughly $15,000 to $20,000 for a full electrical install. And they claim that we are still too expensive, so we stopped doing any work for this company. They like cheap workers that do bad and pay inspectors to let them get away with all the work that is done incorrect. So yet again, proves my point that corners are being cut constantly. It's like, who do you even trust now? And it almost makes sense to never, ever use a home inspector that the builder recommends at all, or maybe even that a realtor selling the house recommends, because they must be all in bed with each other, all trying to get it out as fast as they can, hoping to make you buy it first, because it's much easier to go back on a deal if you haven't paid them yet. It's much harder to if you've already signed the contract and the money has left your account. Then things become a bit harder to fight. So that's actually incredible. And it's like there are certain things you shouldn't cut corners with. And I'd argue electrical and plumbing is probably one of them. If you want to cheap out on siding, okay, but on your electrical, we don't need house fires. And lastly, we have Jesse who says home builder here. And I love hearing people that are actually in the industry comment on this, because this is how we can all learn. We build with the lowest grade materials possible, and we built them as fast as possible. Otherwise, we couldn't run a business. Developers will not pay any higher. It isn't necessarily the actual builder's fault. It's like, you say it's not the builder's fault, but then we see corners being cut and they won't even paint behind the drain spout. So clearly builders and everybody is at fault with each other. Just being associated with each other makes you guilty by association. The banks and investors who develop the land make all the money. It's very true. Add to that the fact that nobody is going into the trades, it's impossible to find skilled help. Even if you offer an extremely high wage, it is still nearly impossible. Is that actually true? Because it sounds almost hypocritical here. We build with the lowest grade possible, and we build them as fast as possible, and developers won't pay any higher. But even if you offer an extremely high wage, we just can't find anyone. So why would people go into the trades if the builders and the people that are paying you refuse to pay you what you're worth? You know what I'm saying? So obviously it's going to deter people from wanting to go into the trades. I'm also seeing a lot of people quitting and leaving the automotive industry and being an auto mechanic and working on cars for that exact reason. You could be really good at it, but they're paying you next to nothing on a job that they say you should be able to do in 5 hours, but you know it takes 15 hours to do the job, and they're only going to pay you for the 5 hours. So it's either you rush it, you cut corners, and the buyer or the consumer ends up getting hurt, or you quit. So it seems like at the end of the day, this all falls onto you as a consumer who ends up getting screwed the hardest. I can't, man. I can't anymore. Imagine your home inspector goes in and like Hulk presses down on your supposed concrete foundation and garage floor, and he can send his foot through it. What are you making it out of that is that brittle? That is unbelievable. And here I am wanting to put a lift in my future home garage, and then I have Mr. Home Inspector here send his foot through the garage foundation. That is unbelievable here. What do you do at that point? Do you have to lift the house or demolish the house to re-pour all the foundation properly? Because that sure as heck isn't safe.
It's a brand new house. Would you trust this builder? Oh my gosh. Like, what in the world? Oh, it's so smooth. Dadgum, man.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, foundation's cracking. Lovely. Or the concrete on brand new houses. Oh, the combustible gas detector is leaking. How lovely. Wouldn't you all like a leaky gas line behind your house to detonate like a grenade? Oh, man, look at this.
Missing the door. Missing the door. And that one's clogged. Well, it's been a while since we've checked an air filter, so let's see. Is this one gonna be dirty or not? Oh, yeah.
Ugh. Brand new, too.
Yeah, that's a little dirty. Okay, hot and cold orientation. Hot should always be on the left. You can see the water is blue, which means it is not hot. The cold side, yellow means hot, and you can see the temperature, 114, 115. Here's what it looks like underneath.
You can't even tell, really. Very level. Awesome. But we're not cutting corners. Remember, it's not the builder's fault. We get paid by the job, not per hour. So,
You know, when I'm looking at a $1.3 million house, stuff like this just hurts my soul.
All right, so it's very clear that this is a
1.3
little
million.
practice zone. For any of the framers hired that day that have never used a nail gun, you practice in this little area first, then you can move on to the rest of the house. Yeah, that's a bit moist. All right, so look at that wall and look how it looks doubled up. That's because it is. The HVAC guys and the plumbers got their measurements off, and in order to house all of the mechanicals and the plumbing, the framers had to come back and add this additional wall. Imagine how much square footage they're losing on all 3 floors of this house.
wow, that's huge.
Not to mention that all of the walls are one thickness, but this one's double the thickness. No way this was part of the building plans. So you see that stack of wood between the stairs and the floor? So the flooring system was too short to meet the stairs, so they just added 2x6s, just nailed them together just to close the gap.
Nice.
Come on now. That's that good stuff. That's that structural foam. We fill in any gap that we see with structural foam. Oh, we're going to need some more structural foam. They missed a spot.
Now listen, I have never worked on a house. I have no idea how to do it. Eager to learn. But if this is where the bar is set, I think I can do a better job. If they're having new hires and new people practicing using a nail gun on your $1.3 million house, instead of doing it outside on some leftover wood, this just tells you the quality of what you're buying.
All right, you guys listen to me. You're not understanding. The more nails you put in,
This is
the
unbelievable.
better it is. It doesn't matter if it's not fully tight or if it's broken. Extra nails fixes everything. Well, that's not good. That is all water coming from the safety pan underneath the air conditioning unit.
Mold.
Okay, well, let's check the rafters. What do you know?
Is it floating?
Not tight.
They're floating. See, so like what happens with that? You have not tight rafters that the roof is sitting on. I would only think that after a couple of years, everything kind of starts to set, like the weight of the house kind of sets on each other, and it's going to cause your roof to crack and the shingles to fall off, and everything is going to start getting all janky and wonky, and then your walls are going to start cracking, and you're just going to end up spending more money in the long run.
And that one right there is broken.
But they still use it.
So we're missing some kick-out flashing. And also these gutters are sloped wrong. There's water ponding here. Should be going this way. And same with these gutters.
Wow.
Ripped shingle. Has some more damaged shingles. And a nail that's popped through and needs to be sealed.
A hole. More bowed walls. $900,000 house. Oh, it's crooked. What's crazy to think is just a quick walkthrough. Like, I know nothing, like I said, about home inspection. I'm not a professional. But I would argue I could probably find quite a few of those issues or mistakes myself. But it seems like the builders or whoever put these up, there's no way these are just skating by. There's no way they're not noticing all the mistakes they're making. But they're like, oh, we're going to leave all the mistakes and problems that we make, and we'd rather you catch them than us to just fix it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of us just fixing it and doing it right the first or second time, we'd much rather leave it and hope that if, hey, you only catch 90% of the mistakes, well, then I save on 10% of what you didn't find.
Someone spilled the paint to the outside of the house. Another window with paint. Missing the switch. This door won't shut and latch. So we've had some kind of leak or flood or water penetration. My guess is someone left the window open. But this is all water damage.
So that's all got to get ripped up.
Soaked up into the baseboard. Hopefully they'll replace these baseboards with new ones.
Probably not.
Because I wouldn't want that. Well, here's our food waste disposer. It's not plugged in, but even if it was, there's no switch anywhere. Nothing up top, nothing down below that I can see unless I'm just blind. Sometimes I've seen it down here, but you can see there is nothing.
Yeah.
Here's our
So when you want to use it, you just plug it in, and then when you're done, you go under and you got to unplug it.
water heater. Keep in mind, it's almost 2025. Water heater, manufacture date, May 2021.
You spend $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 on your beautiful house. New construction, keep in mind. And, you know, you got to replace maybe your water heater every 7 to 10 years, maybe 15. I have no idea. But it's like you would expect to be purchasing new appliances with it too. But turns out the water heater you're getting is already 4 years old. It's like, imagine paying for brand new tires to be put on your car. You would expect the date of production, the date of manufacturing to be 2025. But you look on it and it says 2021. But you paid full retail for it and you're getting screwed again. Here we are, yet again, cutting corners.
All right, well, they cut this ladder correctly. Look at this, no gaps. That's good. Not supposed to have gaps at the hinge joints. So they did great there. But right here, this says that the stair jambs must be securely fastened with 16D nails or 3-inch lag screws. Not these.
Those are like little wood screws.
That.
Even I know
Only
better.
we had a sticker which told us how to do it. This should be sealed up to that. That shouldn't be exposed. I don't think they got a single one on this side tight to the ridge.
Oh my God. Like, I want to know what's going to happen to that in a couple of years. I'm genuinely curious. Let me know down in the comment section below. But you know what's even more absurd than these new construction houses? It's that more than 70% of you that watch these videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel. Now, let me let you in on a little secret. Subscribing to the channel is completely free. You get quality content unlike these houses, and it doesn't cost you a dime. So do me a favor and just give it a little tap down below. It means so much. It lets me know that you guys want to see videos like this, and it lets me know you guys want to see me keep creating videos like this. Otherwise, let's keep on going.
So the doorbell is dinging, but not donging. See? Ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
No dong.
Craftsmanship. Quality.
You guys notice anything? Notice what's missing?
The bottom of the door? Oh, it's cracked.
And another, pressure should be below 80.
Look at how close you are to your freaking neighbor. A condom.
What?
What are they doing in your house? How would that even get there? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, they're making sure the walls are soundproof. Oh my gosh. I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts about these new construction homes down in the comment section below. If you haven't already seen my previous video on new construction, I highly recommend you check it out right after this. Otherwise, make sure to smash that like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe. See you in the next episode. Peace.